So we're here. Obviously the drone was canceled today, and it's frustrating. But I showed everybody the track, and we could go. If this was March, we'd be droning today. But when you have these babies, some of them just got gated up. Some of them are trying to get over the virus. A day like today, you're just looking for trouble. That mud starts hitting them in the belly, and other horses start acting up, which in turn causes them to some of them to act up. You're just looking for an incident, and last thing we want is an incident on live TV, so to speak. So we opted to not. And really what it came down to, the final deciding factor was, I made it simple for our crew. Any of the horses that are behind the other ones, so that if they're broke in Lexington or we brought them in privately, we tried to move them today. It gave the ones that were a little bit sick an extra day just to relax and get over the virus. Now, the one thing about these cold snaps, when they happen like that, for some reason they get over the virus quicker. I don't know if it's the air cleaner or what it is, but I went in today and we did have horses that were coughing this week, and we were taking their temperatures every day. That's another thing that we instituted at the barn, and I know it might sound to be logical to you, but not many people go in. If you go in the barn and the horse eats their food and seems bright, you don't take their temperature. We try and keep every day in the morning, we try to take temperatures of the horses now, just to give us indications of how they are. You know, it's the same as you. You might be okay to work, but you're not okay to play a game of basketball or hockey, and the horses can't talk. So if the groom comes in, the horse ate, and it's out in the cross ties, then you go out and jog it. But before you go out and jog it, maybe instead of jogging it 3 miles, you jog it 1.5 miles so you don't heat it up, because its temperature was 101.1 instead of 99.9 like it's supposed to be. So these are other things that we're doing to ensure the horses stay as healthy as they can in the barn this winter. And a day like today just gives them another day to get over it. I walked through every shed row. I think I heard 1 or 2 horses coughing, and those were horses that were at the end of what we would consider a little touch of the virus that they had. So that's great. This time of year, just after the Harrisburg sale, especially since we have 73, 74, 75 horses, babies on site, and well over 100 into 120 in our care, it's important to be able to control that virus. As you can imagine, coming in from Harrisburg, we bought horses that were from Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, everywhere, all over North America, and they all bring their own little type of virus with them, and that Harrisburg is like an incubation pod for them. Everybody's sick when they come home from Harrisburg. So today, although it may be a loss in the short term, it may be a gain overall. Give our horses another day. We'll be back next week with the drone next Saturday for you. Somebody came up and said, oh, they're calling for rain next Saturday. Rain is now a week out. They're saying the rain is supposed to start at 1 o'clock next Saturday. I'm not a meteorologist. I don't know how they predict that, but obviously it can change. And hopefully it stays away, or if it starts at 1 o'clock, we should be done by 1 o'clock. So, on with the show. We are going to talk about, obviously the one thing I want to talk about is the open house coming up. We have a lot on the go for the open house. Obviously, we want the weather to cooperate. We're going to have, I would say, somewhere close to 75 to 80 babies on the track. Now, you might say, well, you don't have 80 babies. Well, we don't yet. We have 2 more coming on Tuesday. I have been telling everybody, oh, we have 74 babies on site. 76 will be here soon. I think we have 73. I think we miscounted or double counted 1 horse. So there's actually 73 yearlings on site right now. 2 more arriving on Tuesday. Now, a filly that we had privately sent to us that Amy and I, potentially, I guess, Amy and I own right now, is Rose Run Versatile, an absolutely beautiful filly by Muscle Massive. I broke her and I said, she's over on the shaft a little bit. Took her over to the clinic. She's OCDs in both hocks. Not a big deal. It's a big deal because you're not going to get to see her on open house day. But it's not a big deal because we can take them out. They're both in good places, and lots of horses had OCDs out. I think this is our 6th one of the season. We had about the same last year. So Rose Run Versatile will not be at the open house. She'll be here. You can see her for yourself, but she'll be resting at that point. What else? All the other horses that had OCDs out will be in enough form to jog, and they're gated already. And who are the 2? The Zeb horse, Zeb Sunshine, and Olympic Hopeful are both gated already. One's a trotter, one's a pacer, but they'll both be going on open house day, obviously in a very slow set as they will just be in their first week back after their OCD surgery. So the OCD surgery, they take these fragments, these little calcium deposits that irritate the joint. They take that out, and then it's a month in the stall. Now they say a month in the stall, then you got to hand walk them. You go try and hand walk a 1,000-pound horse after a month in the stall, and I'll pick you up at the hospital. So we usually just jog them light starting a month after. And it really, it's on a case-by-case basis. If the horse's joint that was operated on still has some inflammation and swelling, then maybe we will just TQ it if we have to and walk it. Last thing we want to do is see the horses get injured, especially after we already operate on them. So Rose Run Versatile will not be participating in the open house, but she'll be looking for lots of carrots if you want to come down and see her. Also at the open house, Curtis is here with me. He's in mute mode. He's in quiet mode. He's obviously going to be running the whole production. Big news, I'm not going to be on the track. I'm going to be in the stands. Last year, I left here. I was so happy. Everything went off so well. But I just felt overall I didn't get a chance to talk to our clients. And that made me upset. I love being on the track and talking to people while I'm behind the horse and explaining my position and what I like about the horse or maybe what I don't like about the horse. But you guys are our clients. We are going to have competent people, very professional people going with the babies, and I can talk to you anytime about the babies from the jog cart. I should be up here talking with our clients and making sure they understand everything that's going on. I know there's a million questions from people while they're on site, and I want to make sure they're all answered. So I'm going to be up here talking to our clients and giving some commentary to what I see on the track. Are we going to have somebody mic'd up? One of the drivers mic'd up?
Maybe.
We might have one of the drivers mic'd up so that I can converse with them and ask them what's going on also. So there's that. Jamie Fellows, Curtis's wife, is going to be doing some commentary with everybody as she did last year. She does a great job as they come off the track. One, she's Rob Fellows' daughter, so she understands what horse racing, training, and everything's all about. Two, she's got a great eye and does a great job in front of the camera. So Jamie's going to be doing that. We're lucky to have them here. You got to remember, too, I take a lot of this for granted. Curtis gets paid, so he has to be here. But Jamie, I'm probably just going to take her to supper. Bill O'Donnell, I feel bad. What? Lloyd, my own brother. I never mentioned Lloyd, my own brother. He's the guy up on the track almost getting run over by the horses. That's my brother Lloyd. And then my father flies up here. I know he loves to do it, but at the same time, he's 380 years old. He flies up here. He flies up here to do this, and I might joke, but my father's very knowledgeable. He was running. He likes to tell me this. I was running racetracks when you were in diapers. Actually, you were running racetracks before I was born. When I was in diapers, you were in PEI. So, but he was the race secretary. He knows a lot about horses, knows a lot about breeding. So him and Bill will do a great job. We just got to keep them focused. Dad likes to talk about football and basketball and cricket and everything else. When we're at the track, we're going to need Bill there to focus Freddie on his task. But we're very lucky to have my father come up. And Bill, again, I take it for granted. We had Ben Wallace here, a really nice guy, very incredibly smart and talented guy, understands the game implicitly. And then you got a guy like Bill O'Donnell. One, he's a maritimer, and two, he's been in the game, 95, 100 years now. He's been in the game. He's been in the game. Just done everything, been everywhere, won every race multiple times. Just and he's funny, but he understands what we're trying to do here. And I looked at I sent Bill a message the other night and said, hey, can you come and do the open house? The last time I messaged Bill was like a month after the last open house, and I said, hey, would you be able? Yep, no problem, love to. Pretty hard not to be happy with that. The guy's got lots to do also. So to Bill O'Donnell, thank you very much for doing this also. We're very, very lucky to have somebody like him here. We're going to have all the program pages, the pedigrees for you. And I said to Curtis, what can we do about a board to show people the real-time share amounts that are left? Because as the open house go, the one thing I noticed last year was a lot of people bought shares and somebody come up and say, hey, can you help me get 5 shares of this horse? I can't seem to do it. We can't do it because they're gone. And we have sold a lot of shares in a lot of horses. Obviously, we have, 30% more horses this year than we did last year. And I would suspect a lot of them will sell quickly. A lot of these horses from Ohio still have the sale price on them, which means I just broke them for free. Which probably isn't a great business model for me. But at the same time, we want to make sure we get everybody involved, and it was incredibly important that we have a lot of horses on site, because we're going to push back into the general public this winter. Incredibly aggressive. We're going to be into the general public. I'm going to try and get back and speak on some of the radio shows, maybe a TV show, and have some write-ups in some of the major newspapers. Hopefully we could have one of the major newspapers come out and cover what we're doing. I mean, what we've built here is something unseen in the world. And for those of you who say, oh, come on, Anthony, I had another country fly me there to speak about what we're doing and how they could do it there. So take that for what it's worth, and how important that is moving forward. So we have the open house. Going to be an incredibly big show for you. We're going to try to put on some, a great show for you, but also some new things we're trying to do. And we're looking for feedback also. We're still talking about the open house coming next summer, right before the spring open house, and things we want to do for that. So we're trying to look ahead, and the reason I can look ahead now, skipping and changing gears, is because of some of the infrastructure we're putting in place. And I had sent an email out the other night to our clients first and foremost, and then to everybody, explaining what we were trying to do and what it was going to cost. We are going to bring somebody on to help me run the day-to-day operations, the business side of TheStable.ca, because what I need to do, when you look at everything the stable does, most important thing we do is train down the babies the way we always have. And I think the biggest concern last year from people outside the industry was, listen, Anthony, you trained down 18 babies the first year, 30-some the second year. Now you're at 53. That's too much. And I think it's going to be too taxing for the stable, and I think you're going to see poorer results because of it. Well, I had the best year of my life last year, 41 years old, about to turn 42 next week, and I had the best year of my life. More fun than I've had ever in this game, and that was all with this 53 horses. Now we have 75, but it's all about that uniform way that we train down the babies. The stable model to training down yearlings. And although we hired professional people, they come from different walks of life and different eras, and they all have their own different ways they want to train down babies, but our babies get trained down our way. That's not to say their way is wrong or my way is right, but it's our way. And I need to be in the barn. I need to be able to go and speak to the media if we have press releases, and the day-to-day operations of the stable can't wane because of that. And that's what will happen. Instead of emailing you back every 2 hours or immediately or at night before I go to bed, it might be the next day. And then, is that okay? 2 days, is that okay? The biggest thing about TheStable.ca is our dedication to transparency and communication. And I want to make sure that is not something that falls by the wayside. And to do that, we need somebody that's going to help us run the stable. The person we have hired is incredibly talented from the industry, and somebody that we are very, very lucky to have. But it's not cheap, and nor should that person be. So we're going to unveil who our co-captain is at the open house also, which is a big deal for me. And then you may not notice all of this, but the back end of our site is going to be it's going to be updated. It's going to give Curtis a chance to work on the front end of the site with Justin and with Eric D'Souza, who runs TheStable.ca.com. It's going to give Curtis an opportunity to work on the app that we've built. And some of the things that we have coming for the app, I wanted to put in last year, and we couldn't do it just because we were too taxed. Curtis was busy. I was busy. So now Curtis has a little more free time, and by me not have to focusing on the day-to-day business, the business dealings of TheStable.ca, that gives me more time also to do the things that we want to do for our clients. Just watching some horses jog here in the mud. Anyway, these are the things that we want to do. Ultimately, what will the infrastructure do? The first question anybody would ask me, and I did get it a lot, is what does it mean for me? Well, by streamlining the accounting side and the business side of TheStable.ca.com, it makes sure that you get the best experience you can on both sides of the spectrum, both in the barn and online. Also by bringing the other person on, the co-captain, so to speak, the person that's going to help me sail the ship into the future, it allows me to focus on your babies. And we're not going to use this word because it's not really a word. We want to use the investment you've made, and that word will be a focus of the stable moving forward. But the money you have entrusted with us in the form of your horses, we want to make sure that they're taken care of. I need to be on site to make sure that works properly. And it wouldn't matter if we had 13 horses or 300 horses. I still have to make sure that that is job number one, and it allows me to do that. So simply put, the business is growing, and we need people to help us grow it. So that's that. Hopefully that answers all your questions in regards to the infrastructure. If you don't, keep the emails coming. I want to make sure that we get to talk to you. You all know my phone number. If you don't, it's very simple, 519-400-4263. That's my phone. You can talk to me on anytime. You can text me. You can email me. No question is what they would call a stupid question. They're all questions I want to answer. And the more questions I get, the easier it is for us to build a proper frequently asked questions button, which we're doing now. People say you need one. We had one. It wasn't really good. There's a lot of stuff on the front end of the site that we want to update and we want to change. That takes time, and we're getting to it. But the more emails I get and the more feedback I get from you, the more I can push that on to Curtis and Justin and Eric and say, hey, can you make sure that this is addressed in our frequently asked question button? So all this stuff is taking place over the next few months, leading into what should be, hopefully, I hope it will be, a great 2019 season. So with that, that's the front end of what we're doing. We're going to come right back in a second. I'm going to give you a quick little update on who's racing and who's close to the races. Now, I didn't bring my little clipboard thing with me because I usually do this on Sunday or Monday, and you get it 3 days late. We're doing it early this week because we're not at the drone today. I'm going to give you a rundown of every baby, what I think of them, what I foresee them doing in the next 2 weeks, 2 months, maybe even 2 years. But I'm going to give you an update on horses that are close to the races. I'm looking at either are racing or close to the races. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 horses are racing now or are under 2 weeks away from the track. And there's at least another 5 or 6 or 7 that are just outside that deadline. So a lot going on at the stable. By the time we hit Christmas, we'll have upwards of 30 horses racing in Ontario. We'll have our babies back from last year, our best ones, that'll be jogging and training back. Some of them will be on site at the open house potentially. And then we will have, hopefully, everything firing in the first month of the new year, everything firing on all cylinders, and all the horses starting to train back, getting ready for that end of March, first part of April start that we are looking to make for them. So I'll be right back with just all the horses that are racing and that are very, very close to racing. There's 19 of them to talk about. Be right back.